Zenkaikon 2017, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Zenkaikon was a multi-genre convention held from April 28th to the 30th, 2017, at the Lancaster County Convention Center in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. I have a conflict of interest. I was a featured panelist with my group, so we did a bunch of panels. Zenkaikon's a pretty reliable convention. I've attended it for a very long time. Let's see how they did this year. For the Good, registration was again very easy this year. Arrived on Thursday, got virtually my entire group registered. No lines to be seen. It was simple. The only little issue we had was they forgot to put the holograms on some of our badges, which we got easily fixed. The guest list balance this year was much better. Last year I thought the convention was affected by the cancellation of McGlynn, the voice actor. This year, Sonny Strait canceled, but the schedule did not suffer like it did last year. There was a lot of different guests, and it led to a balance that even with Sonny Strait canceling, the event could continue basically unfazed. Zenkaikon held something very interesting this year, a town hall. Basically, they talked about the convention, introduced staff, and I think it was very, very interesting. I hope they move it to another day next year instead of Friday, because I think a lot more attendees would benefit from knowing about the convention. The only one little bad thing was they had a staff member who was a little overzealous and totally did not understand the point of the panel. But the information given was well worth it. Zenkaikon staff are some of the best convention staff I've ever run across. They're very competent, they do their work, they're very pleasant, I have very few problems with them ever, and they're really, really easy to work with. Opening ceremonies was nice this year. It's simple, they introduced the guests, they made Uncle Yo dress up as a squid. It was just one of those good things that it really started off the convention on a high note. And another good thing, the voice actors panel was interesting. There were a few pointless questions in it, but this group of voice actors worked really well with each other. The questions were well answered. I would not say it was the most intelligent voice actors panel I've ever seen, but it was really, really good. For the bad, what was the low point of the convention? Nothing really. There was nothing that bad that occurred during the weekend that I saw. For the ugly, what should have been better? The convention had some new space this year across the convention center at TELUS 360. Now, as a panelist, we prepare to panel in any room we're given. The TELUS 360 room was not exactly the ideal room to panel in. We had an informational panel that we had done before. It was well practiced. We know what this panel is going to do. And essentially on stage, because it was informational and the distance from the audience, we had a lot of trouble presenting it. It very much threw our main presenter off, and we just could not gauge the crowd. I'm not saying the room was bad, but there are certain events that need to be looked at to be held in this room, such as, say, autographs, perhaps discussion panels. I sat in one of those. It seemed to work very well. But in terms of having an information panel in TELUS, I would like to see that not happen again. We had a panel, we knew how it worked, and it just did not work in that room very well. I noticed some wear and tear in both the hotel rooms and the convention center this year. Specifically in both hotel rooms our group had, we noticed that there were stains, there was little damage. It's something the hotel needs to start looking at. And then the convention center itself, we noticed a lot of wood panel damaging in pictures we took in the panel rooms that probably needs to be looked at with some sort of refurbishment. It felt like the dealer's room layout changed a little bit this year, as I ran into dead ends I had previously not run into in other years. Now, I know the autographs had been moved to the back of the dealer's hall, but it felt like you were walking along, there were some narrowed passageways in the dealer's room, and it just felt you'd walk towards the back and you might hit a dead end. I'd like to see Zenkaikon work on some sort of late checkout option with the hotel. I am willing to pay for it, that's not an issue. This year was a little bit unique for me as we were doing panels. We had to be out of the room at a certain time on Sunday, and they were right in the middle of several blocks of our panels. So it made getting out of there a little bit complex, and I'd really like to see some sort of late checkout option worked on by the convention. Overall, I had a good time this year at Zenkaikon. Unfortunately, the way it looks, convention attendance was down this year, but Zenkaikon was a better quality event, honestly. Why was attendance down? CPAC, another anime convention, was occurring in New Jersey, and honestly, this time is very close to finals for many college students, so I can see some groups not attending this con. I'm going to give Zenkaikon a B this year. I bumped them back up to what they used to be. Last year I thought was a little bit off, but even with attendance being slightly down, I thought the strong guest list very much made this convention an improvement over the previous year. And that's what you want to see. And I'll be back next year. Thanks for watching.